Hi, what is up? This is Pancake Marathon. My goodness. Where essentially I always, I don't know, how do I say this? Let's go ahead and leave it better than we found it, essentially, right? Because, you know, why did I develop this concept today? Essentially, is to simply say we get to do a 180 and then we do a 360, you know, because it's always about, you know, my experience of what I can give, because that's what I have to give, simply to say, right? And so, a spiritual awakening I had today of just putting the work in, simply to say, of tradition 7, we can simply say, being able to change in the sense of really highlighting that of giving a peace of mind, right? And so as me putting the work in, right, to manifest the life that I want by focusing, right, isn't that just the same difference? It really is. Truly, it absolutely, really, really is. To say simply, it's to put the work in is life. As I look over this, and the reason why I say the manifest a life and the work I'm putting into this is the nature of a peace of mind nurtured by my life, right? What is, essentially the slogan of work, 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 and then the slogan of think, think, think. It. I'm attempting to find words to convey just the life that I have, you know, and the life that I'm willing to participate in. You know, it's I don't know, the slogan in my head that pops up is, leave it better than you found it, is just to continue that thought of words in the sense of, you know, because there's that balance. There's this thing. It's I'm tempting to um, find the balance in this intuition thing, right? The internal, the nature, the instinct, the listening to my God of my understanding, these thoughts that are in my head of just the conception of what I can comprehend as serenity, to know peace, and as I do, as such, it's about somehow giving a peace of mind. Is that not how I can interpret, practice the principles in all my affairs? Because if I'm not supposed to be the face of any recovery program and, essentially upholding tradition 6, but finding a way of tradition 4 by ways of tradition 5, you know, a group to carry a message. And that's the primary purpose. And tradition 4, let it happen, unless it's, taking away some value, right? Adding hurt and pain. And so, me being the face of my recovery, being a leader, and just a servant of this message, oh, my goodness, of going off of all the moments that I stole, took, kept a peace of mind, right? It's not mine. If it was mine, it will come back. And so I must lose myself. I must give it away. And if it comes back to me, I get to keep it. Absolute. Of all this scholarly research I've done and all the organizations that I do, of like organizing, right? It almost simply comes down to the fact of, how do I show up in my life? How do I keep finding a way just to stay in the now moment? The strength that will ultimately lead me, because I keep showing up for that miracle in my life of just knowing with this sense of purpose that I have, because I'm a miracle, and so is everyone else. Everyone else is a miracle. I ultimately see not of when I am blind, my stinking thinking, this ultimate deception, maybe, in a sense of saying, of what is life and how do I just keep on living. It really truly is that. Ultimately, it's what I want. Never anything else and nothing more. I just want to live. I want to be free. Yet, maybe this is so from the ego standpoint. Maybe I need to get more of a basis of my absolutes, right? And I say that because that's what I feel in a sense of how I was addressing it. Of when I say I want to live, I want to be free, you know? And maybe per se I'm trying to make up for last time in a sense of saying, because I got up a little later per se to simply say of when I would originally get up. Man, yeah, there's a point where I got a late start, we can simply say, on the fact of my day to that of my night or whatever it may be. I'm just, not having enough time as it may seem, in a sense of saying, even though I make that time, I can make it miserable. I can make it great. It's going to be a great day unless I have other plans. And it's like I attempt to find that peace. But don't we all? We all attempt to find this peace. We all attempt to find a way to just have some joy. Simple joy. Is that not peace? Is that not serenity? Is that not a way of just showing up in your life? It can be. I mean, to me, that's how I see it. Yet, that's what I have to give. I don't have more than that. How can I give something if I don't have it? I find it so fascinating when it's like attempting to stay on topic, because I could have gone into some other ways, and yet I stayed within just the simplicity of what is this message within recovery aspects in life. There's so absolutes in everything. And yet, what way do I breathe? Do I just let the cards lie and show up and then finish? Because it's not how you started. It's not about focusing on the end. It's about focusing on the beginning, finishing what I started, seeing it through in a way of just, it's living life on life's terms. I have an ability to do that. I mean, I can make it unmiserable, right? I mean, if I made it miserable, then I can make it unmiserable. I think, and so I am. And so I shall work smarter, not harder. And yet that doesn't even make sense. At this point, I'm just communicating. I'm just living life right at this moment. Attempting to give a peace of mind. Leave it better than I found it. Playing with this concept of giving a peace of mind, which is somehow giving it the ability for myself, making the room, focusing on leaving it better than I found it, is how I interpret tradition 7. Maybe in that sense, it's because I find that I am able to just show up. Is that not peace? Is that not serenity? Is that not a non-judgmental state of emotions? I can see all of this, but then I see nothing. If I can see it all, then don't I see nothing? If I see nothing, then don't I see it all? It's like I ask myself this question, or I ask others as well, that it comes down to, would you rather be the beautiful thing looking at something ugly, or would you rather be the ugly thing looking at something beautiful? It's all the same. It's a paradox. What is it? A self-reflection? Is that not a paradox? Reflections are paradoxes. You didn't learn it per se at that time. And that's okay. It's not that it's wrong, and it's not that it's not meant to be that way. I mean, I can make it so miserable, or I can make it mean something. From the simple fact of life, of just maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, and it is it not? I mean, there's so many points where it's like why is life happening this way? Why is my life this way? Well, as I see it, as I've been gifted because someone gave it, right? And so because I give it, because I received it, because I was open to it, and I was able to just have this breath of just seeing that life is the way that it is, because I am life. I am ultimately this thing that is living. It doesn't break down or hold up to something where I had this unrealistic expectation to where everyone else is going to get it. And it's not that they don't, it's that if I don't show up, then how are they supposed to get it? How am I supposed to show that I am a teacher, because I am ultimately a student, right? A servant, as that is then how I can be a leader, because I am willing to stay teachable. I am willing to stay within the herd. I'm willing to keep showing up. I'm not absolutely unwilling, in a sense of saying, to put myself on a pedestal, but because of humility, I know that I am not alone, and there's so many seats upon this pedestal. We can only call it a plane, like in geological terms, right? Where a plane is just like a cut off mountain. You know, it's almost insane to think about it that way when word plays comes in to the fact of what it is, to the simplicity of a plane sounds like a plan, and yet, I'm just saying, of just all these other concepts of my life, of how some can condemn life when it doesn't fit into their box. And in that sense, it's like, what's going on? Why? Why do I have life where it doesn't fit into a box? Where I have life where I'm